Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel Kajidataonline. In this video, I'm going to share with you an idea about how to interface MQ135, this gas sensor, together with your Arduino Uno and also attach with the I2C LCD. But of course, I am going to explain and give you an idea also how you can interface it using the Bluetooth. So the reason of using the Bluetooth because we want to make a serial communication via Bluetooth and then send the data to our smartphone device or any mobile phone. The reason is to make sure that this data can be captured out in our mobile phone and thus can make a recording and data analysis for further analyzing the conditions of the environment that are already being exposed to a certain polluted condition. So let us begin to interface this MQ135 gas sensor with the Arduino. Okay, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know that this MQ135 operated with 5 volt and then they have 3 connection of the pin. If you can see over here, let me just zoom a little bit. Okay, they got 3 pin. So the first pin over here is actually indicate the VCC pin. Okay, so this is the VCC pin. Okay, this is the VCC pin. And then the second one over here is the ground pin. And then we got the analog pin. So the analog are going to be attached to the analog pin of the Arduino. And then the ground are going to be attached at the ground of the Arduino, and then the VCC are going to be attached at the 5 volt of the Arduino. That is a very simple one, a very simple process to interface with this MQ135. MQ135 sensor equipped with the potentiometer so that you can make some adjustment if you want to proceed with the calibrations of your sensor accordingly. And then it's need to be suited with a certain sensitivity condition that are suitable for your experiment. Okay, just just turn it a little bit right or left, and then you can have your desired result. Okay, so this is the example on how you interface it using the LCD with the I2C connection over here. And then this is our MQ135, and then you can also blow the sensor. Okay, let me just simulate it to you and then see what happened, because in the data sheet it is already indicated that this sensor also can detect for the CO2. Okay, if you can see over there, there are some changes with regard to the values of the sensor. I'm so sorry, maybe the sensor are not so well due to the fact that this is the old sensor that already being used many times in my previous project. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but to make this video much more interesting, I'm going to explain and give you an idea about how you can interface it using a simple coding mechanism. We call it as the Arduino block. So let's begin. So first of all, just navigate your browser to google.com, and then you can type in your search bar over here as follows. Okay, just type Arduino block. Arduino block. Okay, Arduino block is one of the graphical programming language that helps you to organize the Arduino function. Okay, this is the layout of the Arduino block. It's very helpful because it's very friendly in terms of giving an idea about making Arduino project and interface with all the sensor in a very simplified manner. So let us just proceed and have an idea how we are going to do that. So first of all, when you go to this arduinoblock.com, you can go to this login. Okay, so this is the symbols and also the address of it. Okay, proceed to login, and then you can log in if you have account already. I have an account already. If you do not have the account, you can just go and then create new account. So next step is actually go to the start new project. So they enable you to make a personalized project, and also if you are a teacher or educator or lecturer, you can perhaps give a project to your students based on a certain instruction and demonstrations that you give to your candidate. So the next one, before we begin with the coding, let me just at a glimpse give you an idea about this platform. You can also search the project over here. We have a lot of projects that are already been created by many user in this platform. So you can just type here, for example, have anything also. So let me just put dash over there. Yeah, you can see there are a lot of activities and a lot of ideas that already being shared by Arduino blocks community. Okay, so without any delays, let us proceed with my project. So go to this new project and then go to the start a personal project. Okay, after you go to this start a personal project, you can choose what kind of projects that you are for. And then also you have MQ135 and also HC-05. So these are Bluetooth module. Okay, and you can give subscription, and then you can also comment comments on. And you can put the project figure or something, or you can also message other blocks. It's very cool. You can share a lot of project with me. Now let's learn how you can use these Arduino blocks to code your Arduino project. Okay, as you know that we have this MQ135 sensor that already being attached with the LCD using the I2C device, and then we are going to interface with it and then see what kind of the setup that we can have a look, and then we can easily upload the code inside the Arduino later on. Okay, the first of all, we have the two main loop over here. So the first one is setup loop, and then the another one is the void loop. So the first one, if you conduct in any interface of the Arduino project, you might want to consider to set up your variable. So the first one, we go here and then set the item. Just insert the item down here, and then you are going to initialize the values as default is 0, right? So let it be. Just go down here and then rename the variable accordingly. So I'm going to name it as gas, and then proceed visualizations of the LCD. Go to LCD and then insert this LCD screen begin I2C with the appropriate address and also your dimension of the LCD. So if you can see here, LCD begin I2C Arduino block, and then this is your character 16 by 2 with the address over here. So this is the default address given by the Arduino blocks or any graphical programming language. So the next step, all right, so let me just zoom a little bit so that you can have a look what kind of setup that we are going to be addressed here. And then the next one, of course, you need a serial begin because we want a serial communication. So just put over here initial baud rate. And then as I mentioned to you, we are going to interface them with the Bluetooth. Just go over here and then make initialization on the Bluetooth also. So the Bluetooth are going to be connected at the soft serial method. Okay, let me share with you what is the soft serial. So in the soft serial method, basically you are going to interface your RX and TX. So this is my Bluetooth module, right? So my Bluetooth module is actually being connected to our digital pin. I'm not connecting it to any RX or TX. Instead, I'm going to use the RX and TX of the Bluetooth device over here. RX and TX over here. Okay, this RX and TX is actually being connected to the pin digital number 10 and also 11. So have a look over there. So RX are going to be attached to the digital pin number 10, and then the TX are going to be attached at the digital pin number 11. Okay, RX go to 10, TX go to 11. So this is a soft serial communication. And then I attach that one on our sensor shield version 5 to make easier connectivity with the MQ135 and also our LCD, because they have a dedicated I2C over here, and then also they have the A4 and A5 that we can interact with. So remember, the LCD have 4 connection. As you know, we have learned before in our previous video that we are going to interact them with the SDA and SCL. So SDA over here are going to be connected. Okay, this is the SDA. So SDA over here are going to be connected to the A4 of our Arduino Uno, and then the A5 are going to be connected to our SCL. Okay, so SDA go to A4 and then SEL go to our A5. Okay, finishing with this method of connection of the electronic project, then you can proceed back to our code. Just go over here. After you make setup on the initialization of your RX, as I mentioned, RX is 10 and then TX is 11. And as default, we set it as a 9600 baud rate. And then you can make another adjustment. Let me just double check initializations of the Bluetooth module, initializations of the serial monitor, set the gas as the variables, and then put the LCD begin. Alright, so theoretically speaking, you have already set up all the required variables inside your setup function, and then you can just proceed with the void loop over here. So the void loop is basically where you want to initialize the sensor reading from our MQ135 and then proceed with the displaying the module on the serial monitor and then displaying the module also at the LCD and then send the data to our HC-05. Okay, so to do that, first one, go to the variables and then you need to set your variable because we already know that the variable is already been identified as gas. So go over here and then set item are going to be changed to gas and then followed by these values. Okay, this value need to be connected or being attached with a certain logic function or input or output data. So go over here and then select the read analog pin because we are going to be using the analog pin at the locations of A0 as I mentioned to you before. And then you can proceed with another one where we are going to send the data from our reading of the analog values to our Bluetooth. So just proceed over here, send, and then in bracket line feed, we just change to the variable over here and then select the item. So select the item and then insert the send inside the item. So basically what will happen, all the values that already been detected by analog pin are going to be sent over to our Bluetooth communication protocol, which is in this case, we are going to receive all the data on our smartphone. So the next one, we are going to send the data also to our serial monitor. So go to the serial port over here and then send into the line feed also. So it's very simple process because this one I'm just going to give the idea of how you want to interface it in a quick manner. And then in the future video, perhaps we can make interaction with more complex mechanism. Okay, and last but not least is our LCD. You want to write down or give the value to the LCD. So of course, the LCD require two items. So the first one, you need to set up your cursor and then bring this one LCD print column what, row what, and then you can just go this, you can just place the LCD block or LCD function down the serial monitor. So just proceed with the row 0 and then column 0. Okay, let me just give you an idea what is the row and column means. Okay, so we have the 16 by 2, right? So we got the 16 by 2 where this one is 16 and then another row is 16. So 0 0 means that we start from this one, which is we start from the letter G on this LCD. So that's mean 0 0 is where you want to put this one, and then you want to put some values over here with correspond to our sensor module, right? So to do that in a simplified condition, just proceed with the 0 and 0, and then you can insert what we call it as a combination. So you make a joining of certain values and also the variables that you set. You can just go to the text over here and then choose this block, create text with. Okay, this create text with is basically helping you to organize your multi combinations of your variables and also text. So just go over here and then insert the item. Okay, as default they give you two item already, item 1 and item 2. So I may not need to insert anything because I'm just going to combine two things over here. So the first thing that I'm going to combine is the word of gas value. If you can see on my screen before, I already explained about my LCD, which is have the gas value over here. So just go over here and then number, okay, this one, just choose this one, and then create text width. You have to put something here as a guess value. Proceed with the double dot over there so that it's going to become much more clearer in our display. And then the next one is you have to insert this guess into this context. So just go to the variable and then insert your item, which is in this case I'm going to insert and select my guess as one of the idea. So basically you finish interact with your sensor and giving an idea about the coding of it using the Arduino block, but you need to put some delay. Otherwise, it may disturb the functions of your Arduino due to the fact that it's run so fast and then you can't see anything. So to do that, just go over here and then go to the time and then go for the wait. Okay, so wait is basically a delay. So you just put over here wait 1000 milliseconds. That's mean the data are going to be updated every second. And then the data that's sent to the Bluetooth component also are not being organized in as such, because they will not give any guess value double dot and then the value of your variable. Similarly also with your serial plotter, but of course you can make changes on that by just duplicating it and then just insert it on this send button. Okay, we can just replace this one to make it much more clearer inside our Bluetooth module. Okay, so similarly to this serial communication, you can just remove this one and then copy this one, because this is a combinations of the um, string and also the variables that are going to be produced by our 135 sensor. So basically you already done making coding for this project, and then the next step you have to do is basically go to this block and then you can download the Arduino code. So first of all, when you set up the Arduino blocks, make sure that you ensure that your Arduino project did contain or did not contain any libraries. So they require you to install your specific library. So to obtain the libraries, just go source over here and then proceed with the Arduino library. So the Arduino block library need to be installed in your library folder. So I'm going to share with you the idea of that already installed and being inserted inside my Arduino package. Okay, you can see this one is all the library from the block. Okay, so all these things are actually the example of the libraries that already been downloaded from this AB Arduino block. Okay, now let's open our Arduino code that already being generated by this Arduino block. Okay, remember to save all these so that you don't have to be worried about your creation. Okay, and then we are going to open our Arduino and then wait for a few seconds. Open up your Arduino sketch from the Arduino blocks that you already downloaded. So this is the idea about how they interface with your code just now. So the first one, the initializations of the software serial are being done. Include the wire.h and then include the AB blocks, A blocks underscore liquid crystal I square C. So remember to install this one by going to their libraries function over here at the resource. Go to resource, Arduino libraries, and then you can download all the libraries and then copy and paste it inside your Arduino library folder, and then followed by this double guess. So I'm going to use the guess as a float despite of the double, because the floats are much more stable in doing so. So the next one you can see over here, we got a void setup that already being identified as the Bluetooth serial initialization. Proceed with the serial begin and then LCD begin and then pin mode address as follows, and then guess initialize at 0. So to make this one much more clearer, let me just open it up a little bit bigger so that you can appreciate the code involved in this example. So just make it much more bigger a little bit. All right, so the next one in the void loop, basically we initialize the variable of the guess as the analog read function at the pin A0, means the analog 0 pin, and then we have a function here called bt underscore serial dot println. So it's basically sending messages to our handphone or mobile phone through the Bluetooth connectivity. And then serial print on our serial monitor, and then set cursor for the arrangement of the LCD print with regard to the values read by this MQ135 sensor. So let me just go to the tool over here, and then please do select the appropriate Arduino board inside your Arduino IDE. Okay, in this case, I'm going to choose the Arduino Uno, proceed with the serial connection, and then just upload it. Done uploading, and then you can proceed with the serial monitor to see is there any values appear. Yeah, there is a value appear on the serial monitor, and then perhaps I can make some change using this one. Okay, the value of the gas that already been detected by this MQ135 is changed a little bit. However, we have some problem, okay, at our LCD. Oh, actually, it's not a problem. Actually, you can still observe it. It's just the brightness need to be adjusted accordingly. All right, so we successfully interface with it. And then perhaps you want to put another one. We call it as the Bluetooth connection. So you can have a look over here. So you can download inside your app store what we call it as a serial Bluetooth communication over here. Just go to the serial Bluetooth, and then you have to connect with your Bluetooth. Okay, but before that you have to choose your device to interact with this HC-05 module. You have to make a connection. Yeah, go to the pair new device and then search for your HC-05, and then followed by pairing with the default password. So the default password will be 1234. Okay, after doing so, then this HC-05 is theoretically connected to your mobile phone, and then go to the serial Bluetooth, and then you can see the HC-05 available. So if you can't see it, just go and then make a refresh of your mobile phone. Okay, so it is being connected. If you can see here, yeah, connecting to HC-05 connected, and then the gas are being displayed on your serial Bluetooth also. So interesting part about this way of collecting data using the Bluetooth connection and also mobile phone, it is enable you to also log or record your data inside your mobile phone, and then you can export those data to your cloud storage, or you can export it to your statistical package to make analysis. So just go over these three dot over here, and then you can go to the data, and then you can go to the log. Okay, the log actually enable you to make logging of all the details with regard to the values that have been captured by our sensor MQ135 over here. So let me just blow the sensor a little bit to make some change on the Bluetooth and also serial monitor. Okay, so that is the idea about the values that are going to be varies according to the existing pollutants that surround the MQ135 gas sensor opening. So I believe that is conclude our discussion of using this MQ135 using the Arduino block and also using the Bluetooth connection. And then a special credit go to this Arduinoblocks community for their interesting effort. Is very useful graphical programming language that require any newbies or new personnel in understanding about the Arduino codes much more easier to be done. And then you can also save your project and then share your project throughout the world, so that the other people around there also can benefit from this sketch that you are already created. Do visit those Arduino blocks, and you might want to consider to use this module, because it's very helpful in terms of making coding, especially if you interact with multiple sensor and multiple conditions that you think is quite challenging to do it on the IDE, but you can study it and then understand the flow of giving instructions to the IDE, so that you can interact with it much more efficient. Okay, with that, thank you very much. If you think that this video is very useful and very benefited to all of you, please do consider to like, comment, share, and then the most important part is subscribe to our channel so that you did not miss any future videos in the future. Okay, with that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and see you again next time. Bye bye.